we have found a time. I guess I didn't quite realize that if we did it earlier that you could come. So this was very fortunate. Also, always let me know anyway, and let people know in your life what would be helpful. Give feedback. So had I known, some time ago that 7 a.m. was a good possibility for you, I probably would have started doing it at 7 a.m. So, and it may be that this is just the right time, and not to worry about that, but just as a general rule in your life, let people know what you need, and I think people tend to want to be helpful, and you can get more of the things that you need when you do that. All right, let's see if it looks like Kristen is on. Just a couple more minutes. Who knows? Maybe Kristen's not going to make it today. It doesn't matter whether there's 1 or 100. I mean, it does make a little difference in the way I approach things emotionally, but I'm just happy to have the opportunity to be here today. I want to teach something new. I have not taught this very much because it is from second series, but it is so useful, and I think as a warm-up, it will teach a really important concept in terms of mind-body connection and what's going on. And honestly, nobody taught this to me in the way I'm going to teach it to you. It's something that I have figured out. So when that happens, I start thinking maybe this is natural for everyone else, and the things that I'm going to say, it's like, yeah, duh, everyone knows that. But since I didn't know it, maybe other people didn't either. So we're going to do a warm-up of something called Shalabhasana. Shalabhasana looks like a nothing pose. It just looks like you're laying on your stomach and raising your shoulders and legs off of the ground. So what's going on internally, however, or on a more subtle level, is that you are pushing. So feel the lower ribs, put your thumbs on the lower ribs, and that iliac crest. So we've talked a lot about bringing those together. And when I'm laying on my stomach, what I'm trying to do is push those points of the rib and the iliac crest into the ground and that might be enough, like laying down, just focusing on those areas, pushing them into the ground might be all you need. I feel a lot of release in my low back when I do just that. Laying down, hands down, doesn't look like anything's going on, but my ribs and my iliac crest are pushing into the ground, and I get a pretty major release into my low back. If that feels like absolutely nothing, then the next step is, so imagine I'm laying on the mat. My fingernails will be touching the mat next to me. And with those fingernails still on the ground, then I try to arch my back, which is going to lift my chest off of the ground. You can simultaneously begin to lift your legs, even just from the knees down. If you are pushing on the ribs and the iliac crest, meaning pushing those into the ground, this will increase the release to the low back and increase the amount of energy that those back muscles are going to engage. The full pose is to lift from your hips, lift your whole legs off of the ground. That may or may not be something you'll do today. So the first step is the fingernails are down, your body is just doing this little arch. The second step is to bring the hands almost in a chaturanga position, and then this gives you space to lift even more. However, if you lift but you're not pushing the ribs and the iliac crest down, you can actually make your low back feel worse. So just watch all of that. And from that final position, then you can go into an upward facing dog and for me, it really brings more flexibility into my up dog. So just going down onto the mat, face down, feel the stomach, everything really against. I'm going to see if Kristen has tuned in. She's not, but she maybe isn't going to make it. Who knows? So chin just kind of resting on the mat, and this alone will begin to release my low back. I'm not doing anything but laying on my stomach right now. The hands could also be under your chin up here. They could be in what's called cactus arms to the side. You can put your ear, like I have my right ear down on the mat here, or you can switch to the left ear on the mat, and just notice how that feels in your hips, just laying on your stomach. If you're somebody that lays on your stomach often, then this may seem like absolutely nothing. I almost never lay on my stomach, so this creates a release in my hips. Now I'm really going to try to push my ribs and my iliac crest into the mat. This creates an even bigger release through my glutes and back, low back, when I do that. Now putting my hands on the mat, the fingernails on the mat, I'm going to just look ahead, pushing ribs and iliac crest into the mat. I'm just going to lift my chest while I push them even more into the mat. In order to get my hip bones into the mat, I might lift my toes a little bit. So just feel how that feels. Maybe you're going to bring your legs, that inseam, together and really feel some kind of energy coming up the legs. If this feels like not a problem, now just put your palms down. This will bring your shoulders back, your elbows close together, or coming closer together in order to create that energy. So this is Shalabhasana, this pose. It looks like very little. Now just release, put the chin down, feel what that does in the low back. So repeating one more time, push the ribs into the mat, push the iliac crest or the hip bones into the mat. While you push everything into the mat in that section, then you can lift from the chest up and from the hips down. And it may be that you just bend the knees here. So from this position, try to keep coming up and push your arms straight. My knees are down in this downward facing dog, and I'm actually trying to give a back bend stretch in this upward facing dog. Now, just coming into child's pose from here. Inhale, come on back up, and come onto your elbows. Tuck your ribs and your iliac crest together. So a baby cat back here, and try to slide on through to your upward facing dog. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, slide through, upward facing dog. Exhale, child's pose. And again, inhale, coming forward as far as you can onto your elbows, and then upward facing dog. And then let's just turn the feet into a downward facing dog and feel that on our body this morning. Trying to feel a rebound of energy under the feet. So you're pushing feet to the ground, but then that pushes energy up through your legs. Again, this is very subtle. You may not sense any of that. I'm just describing what I'm feeling. In this downward facing dog, now the navel and just below the navel, try to raise towards the ceiling or towards the spine, the front of the spine. And feel how that tailbone can go up in the air. And then let's just come forward, look to the thumbs, just walk your feet forward, bend the knees. Do a really big bend in the knees. So this is almost like a child's pose in the standing position. And then look up and stand up. And breathe. Just feel that on your body. So a lot of stuff for me continues to be going on. All right. In the low back. Just gonna get this out of the way. I'm gonna get a couple of blocks and a towel. I may or may not use those, but they're there in case I need them. All right, come to the top of your mat and let's just start some sun salutes. First, let's do the full invocation today. The feet are together or near each other, pushing down into the mat and feeling energy rebound up your body so that you feel a straightness. Depending on how your body is built, you may tuck slightly so that the ribs and the iliac crest come together. Or if you're built differently, it may be the opposite, but you're still bringing energy through the midline. Standing tall, hands together in Anjali Mudra or prayer. Close down the eyes, notice the breath. Find balance through your body. Bringing your mind to the mat. I will cue to exhale the air, then inhale, and then we will begin with an Om in the invocation. So exhale your air here. Inhale. Vande Gurunam Charanaravinda Sandashita Swatma Sukhavabode Nishreyase Jankalikayamane Samsara Hala Hala Moha Shantye Havahu Purushakram Shankachakrasi Darinam Sahasra Shirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjali. Hands to thighs. Yekam, inhale, look to the thumbs. Exhale, Dway. Inhale, Trini, look up, shoulders back. Exhale, Chaturre. Inhale, Plancha. Exhale, Shot. 5 breaths. One. 2. 3. 4. 5. Inhale, look forward, step forward. Exhale the head down there. Inhale, stand, look up to the thumbs. Exhale, Samastitihi. Inhale, look up. Exhale, hands down, head down. Inhale, look up. Keep the gaze up as you step back, high plank to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog, look at the nose. Exhale, downward facing dog, 5 breaths here. Now widen the shoulders, bringing the elbows energetically close together. And then the thumb, base of the thumb and the first finger are focused on the mat. This opens up the upper back, shoulders. Try to release the neck. 4. 5. Inhale, look forward, step or float forward. Exhale the head down. Inhale, stand, look to the thumbs. Exhale, Samastitihi. Again, Yekam. Dway. knee. Chatwari. Pancha. Shot. Cue yourself through the shoulders, elbows, base of the thumb and first finger. Last breath. Inhale, look forward, step forward. Exhale the head down there. Inhale, stand. Exhale, Samasthiti. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One. Inhale. Exhale. Two. Keep that going. Inhale. Three. Inhale. 4. One more. Inhale. 5. Inhale, look forward, come forward. Exhale, head down. Inhale, stand. Exhale, Samasthiti. Let's go to Surya Namaskar feet. Bend the knees, swoop up. Exhale the hands down, look down. Inhale, look up, shoulders are wide. Keep those shoulders wide as you step back and go through Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Shoulders are still wide. Exhale, downward facing dog. Step forward with the right foot in lunge. Inhale the hands up. Exhale the hands down, step back. Shoulders still wide, looking up. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, second side, left, forward. Inhale, hands up. Exhale, the hands down. Step back, keep the gaze forward through your Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Hands are wide like a starfish. Keep cueing yourself. Wide shoulders, elbows close together. Starfish hands, base of the thumb and first finger. And lift the tailbone more. One more breath. Inhale, look forward. Come forward in the way that's right for you. Exhale the head down. Inhale, stand with the knees bent. Exhale, Samasthiti. Inhale, bend the knees. Exhale, hands down, head down. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, step forward with the right. Inhale the hands up. Exhale the hands down, step back. Eyes forward as you go through the Chaturanga. It will make it easier. Inhale the head up. Exhale, downward facing dog, step forward with the left. Inhale the hands up. Exhale the hands down. Keep the eyes forward, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. If needs be, you can go into child's pose or just keep downward facing dog for your 5 breaths. That's 2. Inhale forward, exhale the head down. Inhale, bend the knees as you come up. Exhale, Samasthiti. On your own, bend the knees. And meet in downward facing dog. Last breath. On the next inhale, come forward. Samasthiti. Padangusthasana, hip distance apart with the feet. Inhale, bring everything up out of the pelvis before you take the forward fold, taking the toes. Inhale again, really lengthen the spine, then exhale the head down and begin the count. Weight towards the balls of the feet. Lifting the tailbone towards the ceiling. The ribs are close to the thighs. If there's a lot of distance between the thighs and the ribs, then bend your knees so that you can sit your ribs on your thighs. And then straighten the legs a little bit if you need more of a stretch. And 5. Inhale, just look up, keep the hands there, switch to Padahastasana. Inhale again, lengthen the spine, exhale, head forward. Breathing in and out. Same thing applies with the ribs and the thighs. Reaching the tailbone towards the sky or reaching the navel towards the sky. Both of those are the same cue, trying to explain the same thing. It's Uddiyana Bandha. Last breath. Inhale, look up. Exhale, the hands to the waist. Inhale, stand up. Exhale, feet together, Samasthiti. Utthita Trikonasana, stepping out to the right. Exhale as you go down. Inhaling and exhaling 5 times. Gaze can go towards the top hand, straight, or towards the ground. Whichever feels best for your neck. Still elongating the spine, even the back of the neck. Last breath. Inhale, come up. Pivot on the feet to go down into the second side. Elongate the spine again. Try to relax the neck, the jaw, the gaze. Last breath. Inhale up, pivot on the feet to do the reverse triangle, Parita Trikonasana. And 5, inhale up, pivot on the feet, second side. This is a twist. So the left hip is going back while the right hip is coming forward. And 5, inhale, come up. Exhale, Samasthiti, feet together at the top of the mat. Stepping out again for extended side angle, Parsvakonasana. Hand can go down to the side or up on the thigh, reaching the left hand so that there's a side stretch from the left fingertips down to the left pinky toe. Last breath. Inhale, come up, switch to the second side. And 5, inhale, come up. Do the reverse. So I'm going to take my back knee down and bring my elbow over and just work on my twist with the prayer. So I work on this twist, bringing my right hip forward while my right shoulder's going away. So the twist happens at the waist. Last breath. 5, inhale, come up. Switch to the second side. And 5, inhale, come up. Samasthiti. Stepping out, Prasarita Padottanasana, wide leg, forward fold. Feet are straight forward or slightly pigeon-toed. Inhale, up out of the pelvis. I kind of like to lift my ribs with my hands. Exhale, coming down. Hands will go on the mat. Inside the feet, but palms down, wherever that is. For some, that might be in front of the feet. Palms being in contact with the mat, kind of push against the mat, while the feet kind of push against the mat. And then that lifting feeling at the tailbone or the navel, whichever cue works for you. Last breath. Inhale, straighten the arms, just look part way up. Exhale there. Inhale, come all the way up, hands on hips. Exhale the hands down. Inhale, tee out the arms. Exhale, bring the thumbs on the back of the rib and pull up the rib cage before you go down into your forward fold. Keeping that length in the spine, bringing the shoulder blades towards the spine, the elbows towards each other. This gives a stretch to the collarbones. I don't know, that area anyway. I don't know if you're stretching the collarbones. One more breath. Inhale, come all the way up. Lead with the chest and the eyes. Exhale the hands down. Inhale, tee out the arms. Exhale, interlace the fingers behind the back. Roll the shoulders back. Bring the chest wide. Inhale, up out of the ribs, out of the pelvis, and then exhale forward. So you keep the elbows and shoulder blades towards the center. Then lift. So the elbows might be bent when you first do this. Last breath. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale the hands there. Inhale, lift up out of the pelvis, and exhale, come straight down, taking the toes into this D position. Prasarita Padottanasana D.
Let the weight go into the ball of the foot. And once again, that tailbone or navel area lifting towards the ceiling. Last breath. Inhale, look up.
Exhale right there. Inhale, come all the way up, hands on hips, and then step to the front of your mat, Samastitihi. Bringing the hands in reverse prayer for Purvottanasana. Or just taking opposite elbows, bringing the hips parallel to the top of the mat. The navel is over the right knee. So there's a twist to this pose. And 5, inhale, come up, switch to the second side. And 5, inhale, come up. Exhale, Samastitihi at the top of the mat. So let's bring the knee up, so putting all of the weight into the left leg, balancing on that left leg. The chest is high, and then just try to balance on that foot. And then bringing the leg out to the right if you can. The gaze can go over the left shoulder. If you lose your balance, just keep your gaze forward. Really focus on standing on that left leg. Inhale the knee forward or the foot forward, and then extend the foot. Floint is a good one here. Again, the sternum is high. That the back is straight and parallel to the ground is more important than how high the foot is. Exhale the foot down. Pour all of the weight into the right foot now, lifting the left leg. Can either be at the knee, you could have it straight, holding the toe, but focusing on the straight line of the spine, perpendicular to the earth. Open up. Challenge your balance by changing your gaze to the right. And inhale, bring the knee forward or the foot forward and extend it. Floint is good here to give energy all the way up the leg, or it can be point, which is traditional. It could be flex if that's what works for you. Exhale that foot down. Now bring the right foot up for Ardha Baddha and just see if you can balance on your one foot, pushing the foot against the thigh against the foot is a good way. And it is harder to balance earlier in the morning. It's just a fact. Exhale the right foot down. Pour all the weight into the right foot. Bring the left foot up onto the thigh. See if you can balance there. And 5, gently put that foot down. We're going to do a vinyasa into Utkatasana or chair pose. So just like a Samsung A, inhale, exhale, inhale, look forward, exhale, step back, shoulders wide through the chaturanga, inhale, upward facing dog, exhale, downward facing dog, both feet forward and straight into chair. and then exhale, forward fold. This is the vinyasa into warrior, or Virabhadrasana. So stepping forward with your right foot in the lunge, oriented towards the front of your mat, looking at your thumbs. If your shoulders are sore, don't put your hands up so far. If your shoulders are fine, you can have them up. And 5. Now just stand, keeping your gaze at the thumbs, and turn to your second side. And 5, open up into your warrior B. Now your hip bones are oriented towards the long side of your mat. Lower the traps. Lunge the left knee while you keep on breathing. Bring the ribs up away from the pelvis. I'll just switch to the other side. Straighten and pivot so that it's the right knee that is lunging. Trying to keep your body oriented towards the long side of the mat. Gaze is over the right middle finger. One more breath. Now bring both hands down. Frame the front foot. Step back, chaturanga. Ready to sit at the end of that downward facing dog. Dandasana, staff pose. Wide shoulders. And 5, inhale, look up. Bring your ribs up. I like to lift my ribs here. And then forward fold. Maybe tuck the lower belly in and maybe lift a little bit more. If you can take the toes easily without bending your back into a cat back, great. If the hands need to just be at the side of the legs, whatever is right for you to keep the spine straight. Bringing Uddiyana Bandha up, so you're still trying to bring that navel area toward the spine, or think about lifting from the waist up and grounding from the waist down. 5, inhale, look up. Exhale, change the hand position or just repeat what you were doing. And 5, inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. Let's do a vinyasa. Cross at the ankles, round the back a lot like a cat, and then roll forward, push up, and then step back. Reverse plank. This is really the first step, is getting the shoulders really wide. So a good 10 to 12 inches behind you, fingers are forward, thumbs towards the center, and then just lift the sternum and stretch the shoulders. I'm not going to go up today. You can go up on tabletop or in the full pose where you lift the hips and keep the legs straight. I'm just going to stretch my shoulders. Keep breathing. And 5, inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose, cross to the ankles, round the back a lot, roll forward, lifting, and then stepping back. Ardha Baddha Paschimottanasana. Start in Dandasana, take your right foot over your thigh. If the flexibility is there, you can take a towel or a belt to create more space to be able to come around and do the bind that way. if that's where you are. You might be able to take your toe, keeping the spine straight. And 5, inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. Let's just lift instead of doing a vinyasa here and going to our second side. And 5, inhale, look up. Exhale, release the pose. Going forward into a vinyasa. Alright, Adrian, you have about 11 minutes and you need to be able to be done. So, let's just, you go right ahead and finish up your practice, do your 3 final poses, and then your Shavasana, so you get at least a short Shavasana before you end. And I don't know if anyone else is on the live stream. You can continue your practice here, or you can go into the final 3. So I'm going to go ahead and do a few more poses without instruction so that, Adrian, you don't have to listen to that while you go into your closing series.